Hi guys, welcome to day 9 of our 28-day Pilates challenge. Today our main focus is going to be working on our hip movement and hip mobility, particularly extension, which will help us to strengthen and tone our glutes and our hamstrings. It'll also help just to free up your hip a little bit. If you spend a lot of time sitting, you're spending a lot of your day in flexion, so we're going to do the opposite, we're going to do extension. And it's also going to work on all the muscles really around your core. So we're still working on our core stability while we do these exercises. So let's get started. We're going to start on all fours in the middle of your mat. We're going to get our hands just under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. And let's take a minute to get focused and get centered today using our breath to help us do that. So let's think about taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale out through the mouth. And do that a couple of times. Try and really feel your chest and your rib cage expanding outwards in all directions as you inhale. And then relax it. And relax everything on the exhale. Don't forget to breathe in nice and deep in through the nose. And exhaling out through the mouth. Just checking then, as you continue that breath, your hands are under your shoulders, your knees are under your hips. And let's add some movement then to that breath as we inhale. Just allow your low back to sag or arch a little bit. Continue that through the rest of the spine, look in front. And as you exhale then, let's tuck the tailbone under, roll around into the opposite direction and repeat. So we're inhaling to move in a certain direction, in this direction, and then exhaling, just walk. Just warming up a little through our spines first before we do anything else. Inhaling to move into this extended position and exhale all the way up. Try not to put too much weight here through the wrist. Try and keep your weight even between your hands and your knees all at once here. And allow your spine to do the movement. Allow the breath to guide you. Let's go for one more, whatever direction you're moving in. And as you exhale this time, can we stop halfway between those 2 points? So let's stop when our back is nice and neutral, our pelvis is neutral. Even though we're working mostly on the core here and the lower limb, the hip and thigh, we want to make sure that our shoulders are drawn away from our ears, our chin is slightly nodded so that the back of our neck is long and lengthened. And we'll try and maintain that throughout. You can bring your hands ever so slightly wider if you like, just to help you a bit more with balance. And we're going to begin then on our right leg. Just tuck the toes in on the right foot. We're going to keep the knee bent. We're going to keep the ankle flexed. And we're going to exhale and lift that leg up to the ceiling and come back down and hover over the mat. And exhale and drop. So add your breath to the movement too. And let's take it nice and slow and controlled, as we always want our Pilates exercises to be. So we're exhaling as we lift, inhaling as we lower. Exhaling as we lift, inhaling as we lower. Our goal here is to try and maintain nice weight bearing through the two hands and the opposite knee, the knee that's on the ground. So you kind of don't want to lean and shift your weight all to one side here. Keep your weight nice and even between those 3 points. And then allowing that leg from the hip to come up into extension. So you want to keep your lever short for now, the knee is bent. And really the movement comes from here. This is your lever now, the hip joint, as it extends and comes back to flexion. So we don't really want to go out and then up, because then you can see my knee is moving, my ankle is moving. Let's just keep it just to that hip joint. And you'll probably start to feel it working into the glute, the hamstring as well, on the back of this thigh. Our other main focus and concern here is keeping our pelvis and our low back still. So we kind of, again, don't want to do this and then that, because like the last teaching points I showed you there, again, I'm compensating. So the movement's actually coming from my spine now rather than my hip. So I'm not going to get the same work through the glute or hamstring. So keep it really specific to the hip. Let's go for 2 more. And on the last one, we're going to hold it here. You can relax your toes if you like, but just make sure all the work comes from the hip again. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed. Let's keep that pelvis neutral and spine flat or neutral. And let's pulse this to the ceiling for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's keep that same leg up and we're going to do some hamstring curls. Let's extend that leg out and flex back in. Exhale, extend, and inhale, bend. Exhale, extend, and inhale, bend. Keeping the rest of the body still if you can. Let's go for 2 more. Exhale, extend, and inhale, bend. 1 more. And let's bring that leg right back down. Let's reposition, maybe move the pelvic bone again, move the low back until we can find neutral again. And maintain it, make sure your weight is nice and even between the 2 hands and the 2 knees. Let's go and do those on the left side. We're going to flex the ankle first, and up we go. Inhale to come down. So we're exhaling to lift, inhaling to lower. So we're getting that nice hip extension. So we're helping our hip joint into a little bit of extension to maybe counteract a lot of sitting, a lot of maybe squatting, a lot of hip flexion activities, to make sure that we don't lose our range of motion through the hip joint. We don't have much extension anyway, compared to all the other movements of the hip. Extension is the one we have least amount of range, but sometimes it can get locked up, it can get stiff, and that can actually lead to some back pain sometimes if your hip is quite stiff into extension. So we are just getting it up here into an extended, just into extension, into neutral really here, maybe slightly higher, while keeping the rest of the pelvis still. And it's our glute max and our hip extensions, our muscles, our hamstrings as well, that are helping to pull us up into this position. We're using the flexors too on the way down, obviously, because we're going nice and controlled on the way down. So lots of muscles are working really around the hip here. Don't forget the breath. Exhaling up, inhaling down. Don't forget, don't compensate. We don't want to go out and then up. We want to keep the knee bent, keep the ankle flexed, and go straight up. And then the other thing that might compensate is our low backs or our pelvis. So again, we're not doing this motion if we can help it. Keep the low back nice and flat if you can. Let's go for 1 more, and we're into our pulses. Let's hold it. Draw the belly button in. Relax the shoulder blades. Let's pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Let's go to our hamstring work. Keep that pelvis neutral. Extend and bend. Extend and inhale, bend. Extend and inhale, bend. Last 2. And inhale, bend. 1 more. Excellent, good. Let's open the knees nice and wide now. Bring the 2 feet together and let's sit back on our heels. Just for a quick breather, bringing the elbows in. You can bring your head right down if you like, towards the mat. And just getting that deep hip stretch now. Taking the knees nice and wide. Let's catch our breath for a moment. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nice deep breaths, trying to fill up the backs and sides of the lungs and rib cage. 1 more. Excellent stuff. Let's keep working on these muscles, on that movement. We're going to come down onto our elbows this time. Let's get our elbows just under our shoulders, our palms nice and flat to support us, our legs are hip width apart, and we'll just move up the mat a little bit. And then in this position, we still want to think about our Pilates posture and those teaching points. We still want our shoulders not to creep up towards our ears. Let's relax the shoulders. The chin is slightly nodded, so the back of the neck is long and lengthened. And we still want our pelvis to remain neutral. So, if you can, in this position, we'll allow the pelvis and the low back to arch a little bit. Then we'll tuck that tailbone under. And let's come about halfway then between those 2 points. So that's our goal, even though you're down in this posture. Let's start with the right leg again, and then let's make that lever longer this time. As you extend the hip this time, can we also straighten the knee, extend the knee as well, and come right back down and repeat. Just hover that leg over the mat. And drop. This time, let the toes nice and relaxed. Think about that work still coming from the glutes and hamstrings. I'm working on them a little bit more now because we're also getting some knee, the knee is straightening. Keeping the pelvis nice and still. You'll feel an extra sort of core and abdominal challenge here to stay in this position nice and carefully. So nice straight leg and drop. Exhale, extend and drop. Last two. And last one. And when we're up there, let's stay up there. Hold it. Now you can point your toes if you like. And with a really long lever, let's come down to touch the mat or touch the floor. And then extend. So lower down. Relax those shoulders. Exhale up. Keep that long lever. The work is still coming from the pelvis and from, the hip, the glutes. Keep the low back nice and still. Well done. Let's go for one more and hold it. Let's pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop. Well done. Just before we do the other side, let's round the spine, sit back on the heels for a moment. If you feel with these you're getting cramps in your toes, just give the toes a little wiggle and then let them relax. I'm going to turn to the other side. You don't have to, but I am, just so you can see the left leg. And let's get ready to do all of those on the left side. So we're going to come onto our elbows again, have the knees under the hips. We're in our pelvic neutral position. Think about engaging through your center, through your tummy, so that your core is engaging a little bit. Neck is long and lengthened. And off we go. We're going to extend this time, remember, and hover over the mat. Exhale, extend, really working into that glute max muscle, into the hamstrings, and into the core. Keep the pelvis nice and level. Try not to lean too much on the opposite leg or hip. Let's go for 3 more. Keep the toes relaxed if you're getting a little cramp. That's it, almost there. And on this next one, let's stay there, nice and long and lengthened. And let's go into our pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay like this. Let's lower that leg down. And then up into hip extension. Lower it down. And then up into hip extension. Really make sure that low back stays flat and neutral and that the tummy is slightly engaged. So you don't want the core to move here, the pelvis, the waist to move here. Lift and drop. Use the core. Let's go for one more. Exhale, extend. And drop. And from here, we're going to come on up. Let's lean forward and we're going to bring that left leg straight away up underneath us. Let's cross that left foot over, extend the back leg out and hold our deep buttock stretch here. If you don't feel much of a stretch, just make sure that both sides of your pelvis are level in this position so you're not twisted in either direction. And make sure they're level. Bring that left foot up as high as you can up here. So you can use your hand if you want to get it up a little bit higher and really feel that stretch. So for me, I'm quite tight now, so I can feel that. But if you don't, what you could do is just come down onto your elbows as well, if you like. Let's just hold this. Relax the shoulders, relax the upper body. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. ready, let's go and do that stretch to finish off then on the opposite side. So we start off on all fours. We take the right knee up this time. We'll cross it over. And remember, if you want to go a little higher, bring your foot up. I've got a bit better range there, you can see. I'm going to keep my pelvis level, and I really do feel that stretch on my right hip. And if you don't, as we said, if you like, come down onto the elbows. Relaxing everything for another couple of seconds, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just letting your body relax now and recover. Nice deep breaths. Let go of any tension with every exhale. One more breath in and let it go. Well done. Let's come right back up, and we will leave it there for day 9 of our Pilates 28-day challenge. Well done.